This season of Love Island USA has been completely different from what we know the show to be. But what I'm trying to figure out is how a new couple, Iris and Peppy, get to go to the finale, and then there's Chris and Huda. Chris don't even want Huda. He don't want to be bothered by Huda. He said his peak moments in the villa was about meeting his family and playing basketball with the guys. Nothing to do with her, but they also get to go to the finale. Where are the solid closed off couples? Let's talk about it.
Kay Unscripted, no teeth restricted. In this journey, watch our stories unfold.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Kay and this is Kay Unscripted. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another recap of Love Island USA Season 7 Episode 34. I was so upset about this episode once we got to the end and found out who went home. But let me tell you, the entire episode, I was crying my eyes off. Before we get into it, I just want to thank the new subscribers who have joined me and all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for being here every single day for each of my recaps. Y'all, what I've noticed too is that about 80% of y'all who watch my videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. So please take a moment and subscribe, like this video, share it with a friend, and let's talk about what happened in this episode. We're continuing from Ace and Chelly going into the hideaway. Ace has just asked Chelly to be exclusive, so they're a couple not only in the villa but also in the outside world. So the islanders head to bed, and again we see Peppy and Iris definitely getting it in. Now it's the next morning. The islanders find out that it's family and friends day, and immediately Nick loses it. He's super emotional. He's missed his family so much as everybody else. Chelly and Ace come out of the hideaway. They're also super excited that it's family day, and everyone's just really happy to see their family or their friends, trying to figure out who's coming and who's not coming, right? So the guys are cooking breakfast, and Brian is keeping track of when Chelly leaves the room so he can ask Ace what the hell happened. They need the deets, right? Ace gives them the details of him asking Chelly to be exclusive, and he said he slept really good and woke up out of pure happiness. Now, once he said that, Nick was like, excuse me? Because we know that's not what Nick wants to hear. Ace said that he didn't fold, but hands were definitely everywhere. This is all the details he gave. We didn't see Chelly saying too much either while she was in the dressing room with the girls. She just tells them that Ace asked her to be exclusive, and they're all affirming her that finally this is what we've been waiting for, and they're so happy for her. So while the guys are making breakfast, Brian asks if anyone's nervous to meet that girl's family. Nick said, hell yeah. He's a little bit nervous, but he knows his mom is a warm person and she loves everybody. So Ace then asked Chris if he would introduce Huda to his mom. He said if he has a choice, he wouldn't. He said his sister and his mom are really harsh, and we've seen Chris's sister show a lot of support to Huda. So it's going to be interesting to see how the conversation goes down between Huda and Chris's family. The girls are also discussing what it's going to be like meeting their family and having to introduce them to their couple. So while they're lounging, the screen lights come up and we hear Amaya's name. So everybody's turning around like, what is happening? So it's Amaya's family and Brian's family together. So Amaya starts saying how much she misses her family. And then while they're talking, the screen goes off. And then we see them coming through the villa. Amaya and Brian at that point had no clue until their family walks up to them. And boy, was I crying. It was such an emotional I cried throughout the family and friends scenes. It was just so emotional. So the islanders introduce themselves. Amaya and Brian's family head over to the fire pit and they introduce themselves to each other. Amaya has her stepdad and her mom with her. Brian has his dad and his best friend. Brian's dad tells him how much his mom loves him and misses him, but she wasn't able to come. Then Amaya asks the family what was their favorite moment with she and Brian. Brian's dad said what stood out to him was when he stood up for Maya, he said, "That's my boy," period. Her mom said she also loved that moment, and she loved how Brian spoke up, saying that it was just Hispanic culture. So they separate to talk with their family. Brian says that Amaya is very nurturing, just like his mom. His dad says that they love her eyes and how she's not afraid to show her emotions. Brian then says that Amaya is very close in proximity to him, so he's going to continue to take steps and to see where things goes outside of the villa. Amaya is with her family, and she asks them what they think about Brian. The family says that they mesh very well, and he accepts her for who she is and that she doesn't have to change anything about herself. Her mom said it made her really sad seeing Amaya crying all of the time and seeing the way that she was being treated, but she really liked the fact that Amaya did stand up for herself. Now, back with Brian and his family, he gets a recorded video from his mom who wasn't able to come because of health issues, and immediately when he sees it's his mom, he broke down and he was crying. But Brian's dad was so sweet. When they were leaving the villa, he was jumping around hugging Ace, and I was just like, wow, his dad is a ball of energy. Next up was Iris and Pepe's family. They come into the villa. We have Iris's mom, Eileen, and her sister Ruby. Pepe has his mom, Erica, and his dad, Jose. So once they come into the villa, they meet Iris and Pepe. They introduce themselves to the islanders as well. There wasn't too much screen time for these two, so this is why I don't understand why they made it to the finale anyways. But Iris said to her mom that Pepe is very mature, he's very sensible, and he's a man. Iris's family, they like Pepe. Pepe's family like Iris. Iris's mom said that she's picky, but she does want Iris to be with someone who she feels good about. The families both mesh with each other. They all love each other and they enjoyed each other's company. Chris is very anxious about his mom and his sister and what they're going to say and think. The boy is stressed, right? And he thinks it's too soon to introduce Huda to his family. Now, did y'all see how everyone was encouraging him except Huda? And y'all still kept them in the house, but I'll get to that. So it's now Ace and Shelly's family's time to come into the villa. Shelly's dad is there. His name is Evans, and her mom, Marie, is there. Ace's big brother, Alex, is there for him, and his sister, Shamaya. And this was such a fun interaction with the family. Shelly's mom said she would be at work and her co-workers would be telling her, "Girl, you're missing it." And she's like, "I'm with the patients." That was fun to see. Ace's sister said, "Team Shelly's." So she told them, "This is what your name is, Shelly's." And she said what she really liked about them is the way they had the argument and they kept it very respectful. And that was Loki shade to her. Shelly's mom says that Ace never raised his voice and she really liked that about him. And she's like, "Well, how do you do that?" And he said, "Well, that comes from dealing with sisters." Her mom also said that she loves the way they watch each other. She loves the way Ace looks at Shelly and he makes her so happy. So the families separate and Ace is with his family. His brother tells him that he's been so genuine and authentically himself. Ace said the question about who's the most genuine kind of messed with his head when he was placed in the last position. But Shelly's the one who's actually keeping him calm, keeping him grounded after that whole thing went down. His sister then shows him a recording from his mom. His sister was like, "Ace got a text." That was nice. And he was crying. I was crying. His mom was just telling him how proud she is of him and, just encouraging him to continue being himself. Now, Shelly's with her family. Her mom says that she loves Ace and he's just like her dad. And her dad was way too calm. He really didn't say too much. Shelly also gets a letter from one of her siblings telling her how proud they are of her as well. Up next was Chris and Huda's family. We have Huda's older sisters, Yasmin and Netta, and Chris's mom Treya and his sister Kiara. So the family members walk into the villa, and once Huda and Chris see their family coming in, they both run to meet them. But child, the way Chris laid on his mom's shoulder, that boy needed his mom. He's been going through it and he just needed his mom. So they're all sitting together at the fire pit, and her sister said the whole evolution of her changing has been so amazing to watch. And I'm like, girl, what evolution of change? Where? When? How? Oh, you mean when she was at a 10 and she went down to a 9? Oh, okay. If that's what you want to call a change, then okay, cool. All right. So Chris is with his mom and his sister. They're telling him how proud they are of him because he's been so true to himself. He asked them what was the last thing they saw, and his sister said, when you folded. And mom was like, there are some things that I don't need to see. So in truth, they haven't really seen Huda's behavior outside of that. What went down with Huda. Chris's family, to me, in my opinion, is just as delusional because they say they love Huda, they understand her, she's grown so much. And I don't want to speak bad on anyone's family, but I'm just going to keep it there because how do y'all not hold the girl accountable for what she did? How do y'all tell him, oh, you're doing a great job, y'all are such a great couple? I kind of feel like they were just giving political responses because they know the entire world is going to see it, so they're being careful with what they say. The same goes for Huda and her sisters, except one of them who kind of called her out, telling her, girl, shutting your mouth was the best thing you ever did, while she had another sister telling her, oh, you've grown so much, you're doing so great. How? Now you see the issue when people have these terrible behaviors. The issue with that is having people around them that keep enabling their behavior. If you're afraid to call someone out on crossing a boundary or doing things that they shouldn't do, you're just as guilty as them, okay? So anyways, she brings up Jeremiah to them and asks them how did they feel about it, and I'm just like, why? Why are you bringing up Jeremiah when you're with Chris? Huda misses Jeremiah. She wants that old thing back. Maybe the pin from Chris wasn't as good as it was from Jeremiah. Because why would you bring him up, right? Her sister says, well, you did fall too deep too soon without getting to know the guy. Oh, you mean she gave up the coochie too fast? Yeah, okay. But y'all were trying to put the blame on Jeremiah, and that's crazy to me. Y'all have not held her accountable for her behavior at all. So Huda gets a message from her daughter, and that of course makes her very emotional. But I'm just like, you missed your child going to school. You probably missed her graduation, and that's just crazy to me. And I know there will be some people saying, oh, there's other graduations to happen. Her child will never remember that. Keep quiet. Let's move on. Lastly is Nicolandria's family. Representing Nicolandria Nation is Olandria's mom, Felicia, and Nick's sister, Ella, and his mom, Jennifer, and child, more tears. So many tears in this scene. Olandria's mom looks a bomb, and we could definitely see where she gets it from. She is definitely her mother's child, okay? His mom tells him what they call them, Nicolandria, and her mom was like, we were getting so frustrated with y'all because y'all just kept on getting the name wrong. Anyways, they chat, and Olandria is with her mom, and her mom says that her dad is really proud of her. And she's like, girl, you're popping. Period, mama. You can tell that they're really close and they have a really, really great bond together. Her mom tells her, we've been seeing the romance between y'all from the beginning, and we were just wondering, like, what the hell is going on with y'all? Why are y'all not getting it? So Olandria says that she didn't know Nick liked her until a couple of weeks ago, but she definitely does see something between them, and she's definitely open to exploring that some more. Now, Nick's with his family. His sister said, cut the night camera. And his mom was like, Nicholas, like, what are you doing? His mother was not playing with him. But she tells him that his dad loves Ace, and the same time Ace is passing around, she's like, wait, what's his name again? She's like, oh, that's Ace. That was really nice to see that the family love some of the other islanders as well, and the relationships that they've created with their friendships. And his mom tells him she loved the bromance between them from the beginning. And Nick's mom is just so fond of Orlandria, you could tell. She tells him that being with Orlandria makes his eyes light up. She was definitely fond of Orlandria. She's like, girl, when you get out of here, come over. I'm going to cook. So it's going to be a family dinner waiting to happen. So all of the families have now exited the villa. Everyone's just together at the fire pit. They're talking about the moments they enjoyed with their family. Then Brian gets a text that says, Islanders, tonight you will be cooking and eating as a family. Please get ready for the evening. So it's now later on in the evening. Everyone gets dressed up. Some of the Islanders chef it up in the kitchen. Chris definitely did call out some people. And he said some people are just sitting pretty and not doing anything. And he said Huda. And I'm like, Chris, do you even like Huda? Because what was that? Anyways, Brian makes a toast once everyone's together. And then Huda says, how about we talk about our highs and our lows? So Nick says, no, let's do our peaks and our peak moments. Nick does not like Huda. Anyways, Brian begins and he said his peak moment was meeting Amaya. He tells her don't ever change herself. His mom loves her and cannot wait to meet her. Of course, Amaya is going to cry because Amaya always cries. Amaya goes next and she says her peak moments have been bonding with the girls and being able to open up to each other about what they're going through. And Brian has definitely also been another peak moment for her. One of her peak moments was the way she spoke to Ace when they had their miscommunication while they were a couple. And she apologizes to him for the way she handled that situation. They do share a hug and that was a really cute moment. Now, once Huda starts talking, everyone's face changes. Did y'all see the way Ace's face got solid rock? Or rock solid? Did I say it wrong? But anyways, she said her peak moment was the crash out and her peak moment was recoupling with Chris. Now, Chris, on the other hand, peak moment was seeing his family and playing basketball with the guys. He said he's never had so much fun than this moment. And he said, yeah, that's it. Nothing about her. You could tell that she was definitely annoyed because they were zooming on her face. She literally just asked him to acknowledge her more and he gave her nothing. That was funny. Orlandria says that she's happy that she has the support from her family and her friends back home cheering her on, and that feels so great to her. So while they're all bonding, a text comes through to the Islanders that says America has been voting for the couple they want to go to the finale. Orlandria gets the next text that says the couple with the fewest votes will be dumped from the island tonight. So immediately everyone is panicking, everybody's on the edge. And so there's a dish in front of each couple. They must then lift up the dish and find out if they're going to the finale or if they're going home. I'll definitely say that this was a creative way for the dinner setting to decide who gets to go home and who stays. So the first stop was Amaya and Brian. And once Brian took the note, it said, congratulations, you made it to the finale. Up next was Huda and Chris, and they too made it to the finale. Next up was Nick and Orlandria. They also got a note saying that they made it to the finale, and Nick leans over to kiss his girl. Nick is always going to show adoration to Orlandria, period. Now, the last two people to go were Aris and Peppy and Chelly and Ace, and my heart was racing because at this point, I wouldn't have thought things would have turned out the way it did. It's Chelly's and Ace's turn, and once Chelly picks the note and I realized that the color was different from the other ones, I knew something was up. Their card read, Chelly and Ace, your Love Island journey ends tonight. Iris and Peppy, however, made it to the finale, and I was completely shocked. And I was just like, how did Iris and Peppy, who's not even closed off, who's clearly only had a physical relationship, they only just developed their friendship, their relationship, friendship, whatever the hell you want to call it, just about a couple of weeks ago. But a couple who's been about each other from day one gets sent home? Make it make sense. Clearly, everyone was crushed because what the hell? What is going on? But anyways, Ace and Chelly go home and they say that they're both happy for their journey. They're happy they found each other and they're living together. Now, there has been so much talk about the backlash, the unnecessary backlash that Chelly has received. Maybe because some people did not like Ace and the way production made Chelly look like a mean girl, and that kind of caused the votes to go that way, because we all know that Huda has been doing the absolute most this entire season, and she's been saved every single time she gets a great edit. We don't get to see a lot of the things that she's done because some of the islanders who are eliminated have talked about Huda and her behavior and the things that she did. But anyways, it is what it is. Meanwhile, at the villa, they're celebrating the final four. Amaya gets a text congratulating them on making it to the finale of Love Island USA Season 7. Tomorrow night, we get to find out which couple won Season 7 of Love Island USA. There's been a leak on social media. I'm not even going to talk about it, but let's talk about what happened in this episode. Tell me all of your thoughts on Chelly and Ace going home. I need to know how you're feeling, thinking about it, and go ahead and like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for joining me on the recap of Love Island Season 7, Episode 34. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!